Jeremy here. Just want to let you know that it's never been a better time to be a Duckfeed patron. Not only do you get episodes early, you get exclusive episodes of this podcast and many more, including just some off-the-cuff stuff that Gary and Cole are doing, just like one-off things, which are a lot of fun. Me and Gary did a whole episode about the Spider-Man video game DLCs recently. That's up on there on that feed. And yeah, just go check it out. Patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. And I hope you're ready for more horny She-Hulk. Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where we get right up in She-Hulk's crack, because that is what this show wants us to do, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus
Christ. Dr. Strange
is
going to fuck her.
These two episodes are I thought they couldn't get more over the top than the first two, and now here we are dealing with all of this bullshit.
We talked in the green room, in the gray room, about this, but I think I want this. This is the content I crave. This is the dumbass shit that I need in this show, is just to be as, like, at this point, please just get as dumb as possible. And then, at least surprise me.
Sure. There's some very surprising things
surprise
that happen.
me. Extremely surprising.
I didn't realize that
some text is made text.
Bruce Banner's, like, the inside of Bruce Banner's mind would just look like a Technicolor Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, if
yep,
it's just insanity to me. Like, I don't know why or what is happening in there. I just don't like it.
And his number one memory of his cousin is that her skirt almost goes up. So it's like, maybe seeing She-Hulk's beeve is his number one associated memory. It's like, I possibly got to see if her pubes are green.
I was strongly thinking there was going to be a big old cousin Hulk orgy at one point during this episode, and I was like,
if I had those kind of mind powers, like, you bet it would be some fucking Hulk4Hulk, action on that shit.
Gary, how you doing, man? We haven't talked in a little while.
I'm all right.
Good.
Yeah, I'm all right. It's it is what it is.
Sure. Okay.
It is it's a tautology is what that is.
Yep.
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Yeah, living. It is it's snowing here.
Oh, for real?
That's rare. Yep. It's been kind of snowing on and off for the last couple of weeks, and yesterday was fucking cold, my gamers. And today it is snowing.
That sounds pretty shirty, gamer.
It is shirty, gamer. It is fraggably cold. And the one thing is that distracts Pocket, because it's like TV for him. Yeah. So it's like the one nice thing is he just like looks at the snow, like, and then looks over at me like, are you seeing this shit? And it's pretty cute.
Can you fucking believe this? I don't even know what that is.
Wait. This happens? Hold up, this happens?
Maybe you should get that dude at like a tiny aquarium and just put it outside your window. Maybe that'll help.
I thought about that. It'd be cruel for the fish, but...
Fuck, they're fish. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I know. I don't actually care that much about fish.
Their previous life was living in a tank at Walmart. Like, I think this is going to be an upgrade.
Oh my god, can you imagine living at Walmart?
Oh, Jesus.
No,
not at all.
They're the only thing that has to live at Walmart.
That's it.
Fish. Like, they don't sell cats and stuff.
Oh god, can you imagine getting shitty Walmart cats? Like, just the worst low quality cats.
Yep. Just all the unadoptables, all the assorted unadoptables from the shelter gets sold to the Walmart for a nickel a head.
Christ. Yeah, they probably just convert them into chicken nuggets. That's all that would happen. Just pink paste for the nugget machine.
Yeah, for the weird counter that quote unquote Subway they have.
Oh man, I had a Subway sandwich today, Gary. Don't tell me that.
No, I had Subway recently too. I was talking about this with probably Cole, but maybe one of the other people I podcast with. I think as far as the fast food restaurants go, I think that one might be the best one to work at.
To work at? Really?
Yeah, if you had to work at one, like put a gun to your head and say like you have to work at a fast food place. Like Subway's not so bad
because they don't really have a fryer, so like there's no fryer, no danger of grease or like coming home smelling like grease. They make those fresh baked cookies all the time, so
that
you probably doesn't get old.
It smells like weird. It's not like a smell I'd want to smell, but compared to like smelling like a Wendy's or something. Yeah. And then here's the big thing I noticed when I was in there is that unlike most other fast food places, it's not like a bright white fluorescent hellscape. Like they have fluorescent lights, but the walls are like earth tones, and the furniture and stuff is all earth tones. It's all greens and browns and stuff. So it like has an illusion of feeling like you're in a fast food forest or something. You know, it doesn't feel like you're just in this like alarm beeping, you know, a Jacob's Ladder beginning of Fight Club copy of a copy, like surreal brightscape.
Are we prepared to work at a Subway despite the Jared stuff? Despite that they hired a pedophile to be the face of their brand for a few years?
Isn't it time to move on, Jeremy?
I don't know.
So many years. Maybe, well, here's the thing.
Maybe, why don't you ask Jared's kids, Gary? Jesus Christ.
We both ate there. That's what started this conversation. Like, why is it less ethical to work there than it is to buy their fucking weirdo sandwiches?
Yeah, I like going into Subways like that. I don't know that I would want to stay in there for very long. Like I never want to eat in a Subway, but I'll go in and get my sandwich, and like the bread smell is always really, really good.
Yeah, for a little bit, but I can imagine a whole day of it being really rough.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't want to buy a fish that lived at Subway.
No, absolutely. It would smell like bread. You'd get it home and you'd have like weird water, yeasty bread.
Yeah, Pocket would eat that fish. It would just be swinging around at beer at some point. You know?
God, just a fishbowl full of yeast is the most, and like one goldfish like pressed against the glass, like what the fuck,
praying
man?
For death.
You had days to remedy this problem. Days.
Like, give me the Pocket, please kill me. It can be slow. I don't care. That'd be good for Pocket. Pocket a little drunk eating off that Subway fish, you know.
I before I really knew better, I'd like let Avon have a sip of beer every once in a while, and I'm not going to say that it made him the grumpy old man that he is, but I think I maybe turned him into an alcoholic, and he's just been upset since, like because I stopped doing it, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? You know, Friday afternoon beer. This is what you used to do. Anyway,
yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Things are good. I am doing a lot of podcasting, which is a lot of fun. I got to podcast with you and Cole recently on Bonfireside Chat. That was really, really fun.
Welcome back, my son.
Work has been good. Life has been good. We're recording this the week before Mardi Gras, and I'm about to head down to New Orleans, and I got to get dressed up in a Blues Brother outfit, so skinny tie and sunglasses, the whole thing, and then as Autumn and the girls are walking around in their crazy, flashy corset Mardi Gras outfits, I'm going to be shoving the crowd away. I'm going to be acting like security.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully I can just convince people just to hand me beers, though. That's going to be like my main goal. It's like, hey, go get me a beer, man. And just have someone hand me like a can of beer, preferably unopened.
Yeah. I'm going to need all of you guys to be blackout drunk this entire time. More or less.
I mean, like after the parade is on Friday. I think it's summertime Friday morning, and then but Friday night it'll have been an adventure. And this is a little crossover with Monster of the Week, but the Mardi Gras king, because they appoint a king and a queen of various parades, and the king of the Bacchus parade is Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean Winchester on Supernatural. So I'm hoping just to sidle up to that dude and be like, "Here's my business card. Let me know if you want to discuss the weird shit that we talk about, you brothers, on your weird TV show." Because I don't listen to it. I don't ever want anybody to listen to that. I don't want anybody from the show to ever hear that.
Yeah. Don't guest on it. Don't read the forums. But would you like to?
I just want you to know that it exists. Bye. I gotta go.
Yeah, gotta go. Who at this parade? Who gets to man the Zatarams cannon?
I'm assuming that it's Jensen Ackles like kids. Like I think that's the privilege of the princes and princesses of the Bacchus parade. So they just spray Zatarans hot seasoning all over everybody.
Or just hot Zatarans.
It's a weird thing, since Autumn is in the parade, and this, I don't know how many parades you've been to, or if they throw out beads at parades not in Louisiana, but it's when you're growing up, you go to these parades, and as a kid, it's like, oh my god, I want these beads, I want all of these beads, like they're so cool, like I want to put them around my neck, and oh man, these are huge beads, like these are fancy, or this has like an emblem on them or whatever. But then like you get to be an adult and you're in a parade, and like I just went to a store and bought 2 boxes of beads, and it was the most like, it's like, okay, cool, so this is just ruined now.
Yeah, I can just get them.
Nobody told me about this.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta send you the parade or the bead emblem that Autumn saw at. Let's see if this will just copy and paste in a Discord. Maybe. No. It's basically it's a black and pink and white bead set, and it's got this huge medallion on it. And the medallion, I don't know how much this was. I should have asked her how much it was. The medallion says at the top, "Fuck the tits." And then and at the bottom it says, "Show me the bush." And in the middle is just a naked woman with her legs spread. Oh,
here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is direct. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to throw some naked ladies into a parade, ostensibly for families and kids, like that, I mean,
yeah. Well, we got to learn about showing the bush at some point. I mean,
and fucking the
did
tits.
we cover with this with the subway thing?
Yeah, we must have.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Jared, please.
She's very like spread out in a way that you don't often see in mass market stuff. You know, that's a very like. It's like she's spread out in a way to show you her butthole, not just her vagina.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. She's like
leaning back. It's like it's a full Monty. Like
she's at the doctor and she has something wrong and she needs to find out where. and when it is immediately.
some Mardi Gras speculum shit. Like get out your Mardi Gras speculums.
Once again, the privilege of the king.
Yeah. Prima nocta.
Prima nocta.
Mardi Gras prima nocta.
Can you imagine if you named your
your daughter prima nocta?
I was I was gonna say your gynecologist business prima nocta, like just giving off some weird vibes. But yeah, that's
when you get prima knocked up, you get to go to this gynecologist.
The sequel that Seth Rogen didn't want to make.
So I'm a king. What's going on here? And my jester is I forgot his name. The little Hill guy, Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill, yeah, there you go.
Little man.
Yeah, little guy. Ostensibly the better actor out of the two, which, like, who the fuck knew that was
apparently better actor and director, and like no one could have predicted that guy's career trajectory. He's
so
like the Mario
weird,
Lopez
man.
of actors. Yeah. Let's talk about these Hulks.
Sure, let's get into it.
Let's talk about the weird Hulks. We are doing season 2, episode 3 here, Mind Over Antimatter. There's no antimatter involved. Doctor Strange guest stars when a dark entity crosses over into our dimension, seeking a body strong enough to house its energies.
Gary, why don't they name the villain in the 21 minutes of this that I watched?
I think Doctor Strange has enough enemies that look like Kingdom Hearts villains like this. You know, where it just looks like a weird black blobby shit shape. You know, and I think that they just, they couldn't pick which one.
I guess
which
so.
Weird
or maybe they couldn't.
Energy.
I mean, like, I would assume that you could just name this anything. Like, you could name this thing Carl, and I'd be like, "Oh, from Immortal Unchained." Okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it should be like just like the darkness, or the shadow, or the penumbra, or something like that.
These all sound like video games that Mike Patton has voiced.
Sure they are. This is, so it's just another one of Doctor Strange's weird, like, I always want to like Doctor Strange comics, but he's always fighting shit like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care. But his voice, when we get to him, so the episode starts out with Doctor Strange fighting him. He has the voice of, Severok from Baldur's Gate 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I just really, really like. And Doctor Strange is, I'm pretty sure, the voice of the Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
He is, yeah. I looked that one up, yeah.
Like, what is going on? Like, it's very, very surreal to hear these, and they're doing the same voice. Like, it's not someone not doing a Severok voice. It's the Baldur's Gate guy versus the Brain from Pinky and the Brain. It's the weirdest fucking mashup already. Like, somebody's Muujin.
It is extremely, it's extremely funny. Also, the
salty bets?
The Baldur's Gate guy. Has one of the best IMDb bios I've ever I've ever read that I've read in a while. And of course, my internet's not bringing it up now that I wanted to read it. The first sentence is well-known king-size actor and voice artist Kevin Michael Richardson, and I'm like, you wrote this yourself. Like nobody but yourself says well-known about somebody. He's well-known.
Well, who says king-sized about themselves though?
Well, I mean that could be his gimmick. Like he's a dude of stature. Like he's a pretty large black dude. So like maybe that could be his thing. So
yeah, I just find it pretty strange to call yourself a big boy like that.
I mean, I'm going to go through Duckfeed's bios and just change it to well-known large podcaster Gary Butterfield.
This podcast for large men.
By large men, for large men, about large men.
It's Big Boy season, new from Duckfeed.tv.
Big Boy season, and it's just a podcast about big boys by big boys would actually be pretty funny. So
I would love that, man. I gotta get all my serious big boys. I know like quite a few big boys. Like it's a good idea for a Duckfeed Presents. So they're doing this fight.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's very boring. He just the alien has waylaid to this world, and now he wants to jump into our world, which of course Doctor Strange doesn't want to happen. But this alien person who's going to eventually name himself Dark Hulk. So let's just call him Dark Hulk here so I don't have to keep saying dude. Dark Hulk will open a portal up, throw Doctor Strange through it, and he just lands in the ocean. And then this alien entity comes over into our world as like a form of energy. And and Strange narrates this and is like, he's looking for a smart enough mind to invade our world and destroy it. And I mean, we know some smart minds. Like I was really hoping this was going to be Betty, but no, of course. It was Bruce Banner. So
because Betty is now an afterthought. Jeremy, get the one true love of Bruce Banner out of your mind because he's dating his cousin now. In text and subtext.
Yes, so, absolutely.
She-Hulk is on another cute date with her cousin. I guess, depending on
is it cousin fucking if you fuck the Hulk version of your cousin, but not your actual cousin?
It depends on if it's the gray one or the green one, maybe. Like it is, they just date now. Like it is really weird, the romantic undertones of all of this.
It is.
These couple episodes.
Strange.
Like I know we harp on that a lot, but I just in genuine surprises in my life, in my 38 years, I never just would have like guessed. It's like, oh yeah, this show is mostly about Bruce Banner dating his cousin.
Go back in time and tell 19-year-old Gary Butterfield that you're making a podcast about the two Banner cousins fucking, and he'd be like, "Excuse me, that sounds awesome. Please, am I getting paid for that?"
Yes, weirdly enough, yes, you are, young man. So super, super strange. She-Hulk is winning a strength contest because she cheats. She's the Hulk. It feels like it's, cheat to me. And people again are all like, brum, 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 whenever she's around, looking at her and just like really, really digging it. And the alien is jumping from person to person being like, who's this imbecile? Not smart enough. Eventually Bruce is like, hey, let's get on this ride, the Dante's Inferno ride. And She-Hulk is like, oh, sounds boring. And like, did she think it was going to be about the book?
I don't understand is it about the book? Like there was just a bunch of weird demon faces spitting what looked like actual fire at these people. Like it looks scary.
It's a haunted house ride.
Yeah.
Like it's just called Dante's Inferno the same way that the PS3 game is called Dante's Inferno. Like it's not,
Look, if there's exposed breast and I can hit somebody with my cross that happens to be on a chain that's 20 feet long, I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah. I just don't know, what she was expecting, why she's so disappointed. But they go through, and there's all this weird subplot about Bruce Banner eating carnival food.
Yeah,
and her being
really
grossed
strange,
out.
Right?
It's really like you're the schmoopy. Like it's just you're eating all that goopy garbage. Hey, it's brain food, baby. It's just like just get a room. Like, god damn it, Banners.
I mean, like pretzel, like food at a carnival is never going to be good. But like, why you got to make you're? And also, she bought it for him. She like threw the pretzel at him.
Yeah. Yeah, she gets him a pretzel because, he's her date. And it is a pretzel too, which is pretty pedestrian. Like it's not like he's sitting down eating like a big pile of funnel cakes.
Oh man.
And if he was, you're at the fucking carnival, man. Like
I'm going to fucking sleeve a funnel cake at some point this weekend and I am very excited about
it. Dude, that's going to be awesome. Everyone's like carnival food is so rare. I always thought that if you could start a business like a food cart that was just like, hey, carnival food.
Yeah.
And it was just open 24/7, 365, like you'd do gangbusters. Cause like, it's just like, man, I'm gonna eat an elephant ear? Fuck yeah. Like, it just doesn't happen very often. It's a rare treat.
The last time I was in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, Autumn's hotel was staying at a different hotel than I was because of weird parade shenanigans, but that doesn't matter. She was staying with somebody, and I was crashing with some people. She was on one side of Canal Street, and we got in, as you might imagine, pretty late. By the time I'd like walked her up to her room and make sure she was safe and sound, and I'm also very drunk at this point, by the way. I just probably should mention that. Walk back down, and the main parade on Canal has started. So now I am unable to cross Canal to get to my hotel. So I'm just like wandering around the streets of New Orleans. Everyone's throwing beads, having a great time. And I was just like, fuck it. I bought a 40-ounce beer and I bought a huge funnel cake, and I just sat down and watched the parade until it stuck across the street again. And it was like 2 a.m. and I was like, okay, but there was literally no way for me to go anywhere else. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit here for a little while, I guess.
It's great.
Funnel cake stories.
Who would take it away from you?
So yeah, there's all of this stuff with all of the weird food stuff. Eventually, the alien comes and does exactly what we expect him to do, which is invade Bruce Banner's mind. Bruce responds to this by just punching the air, as far as we can see, until you realize he's trying to punch this like incorporeal form of this alien.
Yeah. And to the alien, this is a real bonanza, right? Because you thought you were just going to get some scientists, but this one has Hulks inside him. So like, hell yeah.
Strong
this is the ultimate scratch off. Yeah. This is the whole package.
Hopefully he doesn't
no wonder
like
what
incest.
His cousin sees in him. Yeah. So eventually he climbs on top of the ride, and we go inside his brain, where we see inside this constant struggle between the green and gray Hulk.
Yeah.
And they're fighting, because this is what's constantly happening inside Bruce Banner's mind. It must be a nightmare. And the alien picks them up and tosses them away, and then is like, let's erase Bruce Banner's mind piece by piece. Which is pretty fucked up. And as this happens, Bruce falls off the ride. She-Hulk manages to catch him at this point, and everyone looking around is not like, oh, that guy fell off a ride.
Is he okay?
Like, they're just like,
nobody ever says, is he okay?
Yeah. That guy just eats pretzels. What a slob. They're just like, what a sexy catch.
Meow. Look at that. Look at that giant green woman who caught that baby cousin.
I bet you they're going to have real good sex later. Like, I don't know, the things are going on in the mind of the extras in this episode.
Extremely weird. This is when Doctor Strange shows up. He just kind of apparates out of nothing and it's like, oh, hey, I know, like, She-Hulk, you weren't watching this show for the last 5 minutes, so let me explain to you in excruciating detail everything that's happened so far. I'm like, dude, like, you guys can't just move around some plot here? Yeah.
That's for me, that's a real anime thing that happens where, like, the watcher knows something, but the characters still explain it to each other, and I was disappointed to see it here. Like, I do not like it as a trope. And there's this whole running, so he's real stodgy is his whole thing, and She-Hulk is all spicy, and that's kind of what's going on. There's this whole running joke of her being like, you're peculiar, strange, my name is Strange, and we're gonna go to your secret shack, Sanctum Sanctorum. Like, he just keeps correcting her.
Yeah, you can really tell that somebody hit the thesaurus and was like, okay, give me some synonyms. Wow, Jesus. Synonyms.
Give me some cinnamon now.
Give me some cinnamon. Give me some cinnamon.
I'm going to hit this thesaurus until you give me cinema.
Honestly, that sounds like a pickup line from The Incredible Hulk in 1996. Like, that sounds like, give me some cinnamon, Jennifer.
Yeah, give me that red Hulk.
Yeah, that's definitely a code word for Bruce Banner.
So he explains what's going on. Yes. And they're like, he's like, we must go into his mind. So they're going to go into Bruce Banner's brain. And at this point, like, I have to say, like, I know that you're not super into this. I was rubbing my hands together because I'm like, we're going to see some weird ass shit, right? Like, yes, I'm sure they're going to do a clip show kind of segment, and they do.
Oh yeah.
But we also get to see some pretty awesome shit. So it is at least at the very worst a mixed bag. I feel like going into Bruce Banner's brain to fight Dark Hulk.
I think just all of this stuff, like, it's very weird and strange. It just looks so fucking terrible. Like, it just, like, it's a colored, muddled mess. Like, it doesn't even, like, the weird stuff that's there, like, we're going to get to, like, hit, like, fantasy world Bruce Banner, which I think is very fucking hilarious.
It's
that,
good.
Like, there's just a cliff in my mind somewhere surrounded by things that I used to like when I was a kid. Like, that's hilarious. Like, oh, there's the Jeremy that wanted to be a poet. Look at that.
Yeah.
that dude's an asshole.
Yes.
But yeah, it just looks so bad. Like I was just kind of, you can't make anything out of what's going on, and it was just, that's my main problem with it. Is just like it's just bad. All of the weird stuff is fine. Like it's weird and wacky, and that's good.
It felt cheap. Like I wish that whenever they go into like an unrelated mind void, I'm usually pretty bummed out. I wish this had just been a metaphor. Like why couldn't this just be a house or something? You know, like when Apocalypse goes into Xavier's mind in the third X-Men movie or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just make it look like a place that's not just a bunch of floating brown platforms.
They saw that skyscape. That Psychic Plane episode of X-Men the animated series, and like we could do that.
We can do that. Yeah, that stuff's not good. So they're there, like they're kind of walking around. Strange says they're in Bruce's id, and She-Hulk is like, whoa, as opposed to his yin and his yang. And she, Strange is like, damn you, your impetuousness.
The alien shows up, and it's just like this weird floating form that laughs at them a lot, and so they have to run away. And as they get to this cliff, they jump down, and
Jeremy, is this when he shows up on his throne made of the other Hulks?
No, that's a little bit
that comes later.
Yeah, that's a little bit later.
Okay.
There's also an animation error with because there's we'll get to it, but yeah, he has not made his throne of Hulks yet, which I thought this right now he's just floating like head body guy.
Yeah, because that's good.
But they have to jump off a cliff, and She-Hulk like catches Strange on the way down, and she's like, most men wouldn't be complaining if I didn't put him down, and like these legs are more than decoration, honey. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
She catches them and is like, these legs are for more than decoration. And Doctor Strange is like, if there were subtitles, would just be parentheses like flustered, horny under it. Like, and then he's like, put me down, and she's like, well, most men don't want to be dropped so quick. And like, she just immediately has this wide on for Doctor Strange. Like, I just kept expecting her to be like, these legs are for better, good for more things than catching. Like, how about wrapping around your ears like fucking earmuffs? and just being like,
Strange just insisting that he's had sex more than once. Just like, no, I'm definitely not a virgin. And she's like,
I'm familiar with the processes.
I didn't say anything about that. I'm definitely not a virgin. Okay, stop it.
Just like, I'm familiar with the female vaginas. I've studied it in books.
I know the difference between the clitoris and the clitori. Like, wait, what?
I know how to pick the right clitori.
Excuse me?
Yeah. By the hoary host of Hoggoth, I shall choose thee.
Dr. Strange saying just some really bad pickup lines. Does the carpet match the walls?
Oof. So anywho, when they land, after they flirt for a little bit, they go into Bruce Banner's fantasy realm, which is full of like statues of himself as little animated like little scenes of him as different jobs, essentially. And my favorite thing about this is the one where he's a rock star, which like one, where's that come from? It seemed like Bruce Banner, but two, he's playing the bass. And I think that's actually, I don't know if it's on purpose, but I think that's a really, really deft characterization. Like,
because he's
his wildest dreams. Yeah, his absolute wildest dreams is he plays the bass. Like, that's so sad. Like, that's a really good Bruce Banner.
Just in like some sad like adult rock cover band too, right? Like just pretty terrible. It's that guy from The Sopranos, right? Like he plays the bass in that guy's band when Bruce Springsteen isn't around. They also said like at one point, like I couldn't really tell what was happening. At one point, it really looked like he was Spider-Man too. I don't know if that was just a random weird thing. Like there was some weird costume situation that I didn't understand, but. Anyway. Yeah,
I love the idea of him wishing he was Spider-Man too. Because Spider-Man
really
doesn't
funny.
have a good life, but
because Spider-Man's life sucks.
But at least Spider-Man's babies aren't going to have fucking extra chromosomes because he's not fucking his cousin. So at the very least,
he was bitten by an irradiated spider, and that eventually gave Mary Jane cancer, Gary. So
I guess that's true. Yeah, one more day. Yeah. Anyway, so this fantasy realm was really good. They move through that. Then they go through a bunch of memories. This is the clip show stuff, where it's showing kind of just him fighting. It shows stuff from the opening credits of the first season. It shows him fighting the army and stuff. It shows Betty for like a millisecond before spending enough time showing the She-Hulk's dress almost coming up. So showing him exactly, where his mind goes.
And She-Hulk is way into this too. She's like, wow, look at that babe. I just don't know what I was doing with those clothes. And I'm like, you had literally just been turned into a Hulk and kidnapped by Dr. Doom. Like, you didn't have a lot of choices here, okay?
I've never met anyone who's so autoeroticized by themselves as the She-Hulk. Like, I don't think in real life, I don't know there's anybody who sees an image of themselves and is she's like Dennis Reynolds. Like from It's Always Sunny. Like, as soon as she sees a picture of herself, she's like, ooh, give me a piece of that.
The only person making videotapes of herself, and it's just herself, not the other person.
Just her face. Yeah. You're you. Why do you keep getting turned on by it? It's so fucking weird. You're you all the time. Yeah.
We also see the origin of Bruce and the Hulk when we see like Hulk transforming and the explosion and all that stuff. The alien catches up, so Strange has to use his amulet, which creates this like blinking light effect, which almost brought back my epilepsy from when I was in first grade. Because it was really fucking annoying. And then the Strange is like, this will insulate us, and then the alien just like knocks them off a cliff and they fall down. Like, it was like, insulate you from what?
Strange is not like the MVP of this episode by any means.
He barely does anything. It's really bad.
So they get knocked down to the core of Banner's mind. This is where the alien shows up with his throne made of Hulks.
Yes.
Which I was extremely into him making a throne of the Hulks. Like, again, that is just so fucking extra and dumb.
I need you to hold this arm and me to hold this arm, and I'm just going to sit on your shoulders and just chill the fuck out.
Yep. So good. I am Caligula. Like, let's get weird. So we go back to the real world. Like, Banner has now woken up in the real world or whatever. Now that he's, the evil Dark Hulk has taken control of the two other Hulks. Wakes up, he has purple eyes and an alien voice, and he transforms into a new Hulk. Like, this is our fifth Hulk? I think fifth or fourth Hulk.
Green, Rick, she, Dark.
Yep. So fifth Hulk, Dark Hulk. It's this like dark purple Hulk with spiky hair. And since he's going to enslave the world and stuff, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, the spiky hair really trips me out. Or is it cultural appropriation if a purple Hulk has dreads?
Well, we don't know. Well, I mean, the ironic, Severok actor is a black dude, so perhaps this evil force could be a black dude too.
Yeah. I guess he could have black hair then. I guess that's totally okay.
It's the only good reason for a white dude to have dreads. Like, if you're a white dude in real life and you have dreads, you better fucking have the voice actor from Severok just possessing your brain, or I'm done with you. Like, shave them shits.
There's a bartender we got to know pretty well, and she kept telling us about her boyfriend. She would say like she obviously really liked the guy, so she would do that thing where she would describe a situation and be like, and he's so sweet and he's so nice, but like what she is describing is terrible. Like, oh yeah, he just bought like 4 chickens, even though we're not allowed to have chickens in our yard, but we're gonna work it out because he's such a good guy with the landlord. And I'm like, don't buy the fucking chickens. And then like months went by, and we finally found out. She finally it just came out. She was like, yeah, and he's thinking about cutting off his dreads. And me and Autobots just like looked at each other. It's like, excuse me.
Oh my god,
you could have saved a lot of time, honey. Just don't date dudes with dreads.
Just lead with that. Yeah.
So so Dark Hulk starts wrecking the fucking place in the real world. Helicopters come in, he blows those fuckers up, and then he decides to name himself Dark Hulk. That's where we get his name from. We go back into the inside of Banner's brain, and basically the last 20 minutes of this episode is basically just them shooting various stuff and one-liners at the Dark Hulk energy alien thing.
Yeah, and this continues for a while. Like, we don't have to go in absolute detail about this. Essentially, the big thing that happens is that when the alien eventually threatens She-Hulk, the two other Hulks get pissed and stop their throne state. Because, like, hey, that's our piece. And start attacking the alien together. So now we have Strange and 3 Hulks inside the brain teaming up.
This sounds like the worst fucking Cypress Hill band.
Yeah,
Cypress Hill song, excuse me.
So She-Hulk gets thrown on top of Doctor Strange, and she's just like, hey, do you want to do it real quick? And he's just like, but then he says, like, hey, every time he shoots an energy beam, he gets weaker. So it's like, we have to weaken him. And then Grey Hulk turns over and goes, hey, rope-a-dope! It's like, whoa, what? Like, so rope-a-dope is an actual boxing term, which is where you let the guy tire himself out. It's essentially what the Homer episode does when he's a boxer. One of Brayton Cameron's, like, A-plus classic Brayton stories that I, like, the entire time I've known that dude, and I've known him since I was, like, 24 or something, 25, is him watching an episode of, I think it's like Nickelodeon Guts. And one of the teams winning and the host walking over to one of the kids and shaking his chest going, rope-a-dope! Rope-a-dope! Brayden tells it better. I'm forgetting some details because it's not, I didn't see it directly, but I always think of, and every time I hear the phrase rope-a-dope, I think about that. And people keep saying rope-a-dope in this show. Like after they rope-a-dope him, She-Hulk's like, his rope sure's been doped. And I'm like, no kids watching this know what the fuck you're talking about. I guarantee you.
She-Hulk also says it's not over till the green girl sings. And it's obviously a play on fat lady, which is the classic saying. But like you could have just said it ain't over till the green lady sings, and then it works 100,000% better.
Yep.
Like
yep. Instead of green girl, like going for that alliteration was not worth it.
Super dumb. I do like this part where they eventually start wearing this dude out, and they basically just start punching him around like he's a hacky sack. Like
I love that.
Like they literally just somebody punches him, and then somebody else punches him while he's in the air to another person or to another Hulk, and they just trade it off for a while. Yeah, like Doctor Strange catches him on the back of his neck and then bounces it off.
And then they dunk him over the Washington Generals. So the way they rope-a-dope him is Doctor Strange makes mirror images. He does the second level wizard spell. Yeah. He makes a bunch of Tupac. He summons a bunch of Dr. Tupacs. So this guy can rope-a-dope himself by shooting lasers at fakey versions until he weakens, so they can hacky sack him.
My favorite thing about this alien who has come here from another universe to take over our world, and it was explicit about trying to find somebody smart, is that when he starts shooting the holograms and the beams start going through him, he's like, no, this will start working eventually. I need to keep going.
Yep. I feel weaker, but enough of that. Who cares? Zap, zap, zap. Some point in the real world during the very long fight scene, he sets a nuclear bomb. Yeah. So once they actually dunk him on the Washington Generals and Doctor Strange banishes him, Banner wakes up and disarms the bomb. Uses his brains.
Types in the code 6969 left right, and then it disarms, which is pretty funny.
And then it's done. So then it's over. We're in the coda here. Doctor Strange and She-Hulk appear next to him out of his mind. And Strange teleports the three of them out of there before the army shows up, because that's not what the Hulk is anymore. And then all three of them go on a roller coaster where She-Hulk is sitting between Strange and Banner. And Stranger's a reveal. Like, she's sitting next to Strange and she starts flirting with him. And he's like, I've always wanted to go on one of these roller coasting devices, and it's like somebody thought Doctor Strange was a robot or an alien.
Yeah, he's just a person who got kind of backwardsly shoved into being the protector of our spiritual realm. Like, he knows what a fucking roller coaster is. Yeah, you don't have to treat it like he's not Starman. He was a famous arrogant surgeon. Like, he was definitely a man of the world. It's part of his origin. They're treating him like fucking again, like Starman or like an android. He's like Data. Yeah. In this, essentially. Tell me what lettuce is.
What is this thing you call sprouts? So She-Hulk is just like, maybe later we'll do something even more wild or something like that. And it slips her hand directly onto his ball. And then it pans over to Banner being there just smiling along. And then the roller coaster goes, and that's credits. Which to me is like a real implication that they're going to fucking Eiffel Tower his cousin later. It's really strange. Like, up until the point where the camera bans over to Bruce, I was like, oh, so after all of this flirting, which, by the way, if you're ever in my brain, Gary, just you personally, don't flirt with my cousin or anybody else. Like, no flirting in the J-brain zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have to go in there and fix me, you don't have time to be fucking around, man. Don't be flirting with your girls in there. I just don't understand why I would be concentrating on getting laid in that situation. I don't either. I just feel like I would wait until the real world and then try to get laid. Maybe you're setting yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm never going to fuck your cousin, Jeremy. I'm just saying that, like, if I do, it'll be in the real world. Oh, well, hold on, hold up. That's the Gary guarantee. And yeah, like the ending to this, like, it zooms out and it really. Again, before they pan over to Bruce, I just assumed that they were on a nice date together. I thought Strange and She-Hulk were going to have like a little alone time, and that's cute and good. Like, that's fine. But then Bruce is there. Yeah. Just like, are they going to make him third wheel in it? Is that what's going to be? Yeah, he's going to operate the iPhone. Is he going to get Hulk
shocked? Is that what's about to happen?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Hulk, the incredible, the uncuckable Hulk. I don't know. It's weird though, and I know we said this last episode. And here's the thing, listeners. I anticipate we're going to say it a lot next episode too. If you think that we're pushing the throttle too far on this incest thing, like it is just, to my mind, undeniably a subtext of this show. Like we are not doing it on purpose. We're not. We are playing it up for laughs a little bit because it is a comedy podcast. But at the same time, it's just clearly what's happening.
Yes.
In a way that is not possible to ignore, nor responsible to ignore. Like it is, I feel like it is our duty to point out how weird this fucking, 1996 cartoon is to people.
It's so fucking strange, man. Like I can't get over it. A listener came to me, was like, Jeremy, what is happening in this Hulk show? Like I'm listening to these episodes, like, do I need to go watch this? And I was like, no, absolutely not. Please don't do that. Oh man, It's really fucking strange. Also, I just happened to look, and the next episode of this podcast, it's season 2, episode 5, and She-Hulk participates in a Miami charity function fashion show. So I'm sure that's not going to be bad at all, right? That's not going to be terrible.
Yeah. I hope that is exactly as fucking weird as this is. I hope that the climax of this season is just like a 22-minute long sex scene with the She-Hulk where she gets everything she wants.
Please no.
Just be the climax of the thematic core of this cartoon. All of a sudden, man, She-Hulk got her groove back.
I get called a prude all the time because I don't like the sex scenes in Supernatural. Like, I'm like, I just don't want to watch like two people awkwardly touch each other. Like, it's not sexy or romantic at all. Like, no matter how hot they are, they obviously don't want to be doing it, and much less if they're cousins and in cartoons. Like, way less on the dial.
Yeah, I don't like watching sex scenes in things generally either. I feel like just as I feel like we're on a railroad track. And like, that is the end of this tunnel. And I just feel like that's literally everything in this is supporting that. If that doesn't happen, it'd be like if you watched Get Out and the movie was 80% the same, and then the end, it ended up being a message about child poverty or something. It's like, no, this is all leading to a message. Like, the message this is all leading to is She-Hulk nutting. And like, if it doesn't go to that, it will be unsatisfying in a narrative sense. Like, the equation doesn't match.
Or Banner nutting so hard that he finally gets the Hulk out, and he's just and then he has
White Hulk.
Then he has to take the semen, and you know what? I'm going to stop right now. Let's just go into the next episode before I get a little crazy.
yeah. He has to take the semen.
I don't need to talk about Hulk nut on this podcast. Jesus Christ.
No. Like, which is a noun and a sentence, a complete sentence. Yeah. So episode 4, they call me Mr. Fixit, which again, hell yes. The underworld of Chicago is changing thanks to the arrival of supervillainous Allure and her enforcer Crusher Creel. That's not very much information.
I love this verb here too, changing. Like, it's not under attack. It's not, on the brink of despair. It's just changing. Like, it's it's the fucking lakefront. Like, the lakefront got a new coffee shop. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's completely natural. And it's weird that, so we start out, this says it's Chicago. There are other references to being in Chicago. We start in a casino though, and Illinois has not had legalized gambling that long. Like, you had to do, when I was, I'm from Illinois, like, you had to do riverboat gambling on the Mississippi for a long time, and then legalized gambling is a relatively new thing. So I keep feeling like this was meant to be Vegas at some point.
Which doesn't make sense because it's so focused on, well, I guess you could do these gamblers in Vegas as well. Yeah, I don't know what the purpose of Chicago is in this very much.
I don't know either. Like, where are they? They were just on Coney Island, I think.
Yeah,
like, this is just, they're going on dates. Right? Yeah, they're just going on dates.
Just little date trips,
cross-country dates, yeah.
Just gonna nap on your lap.
Which happens in this episode. Just lap naps. Lapnaps.com. So we start in this casino. It looks like the casino is being robbed, and then Crusher Creel comes in and starts wrecking the joint on behalf of Allure. Crusher Creel is the absorbing man. He grabs the door frame and gains all the properties of a door frame, so he's able to fight off the joint.
I am willing to snugly fit a door inside my frame. That's my new power.
I cost a surprising amount at Lowe's.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but the Agents of Shield TV show ended up doing a thing with the Absorbing Man, aka Creel, and did just a phenomenal job on the characterization of that dude. Like from like getting powers to eventually, I guess spoilers, but eventually dying. Just really fantastic job. Like on a character like fucking Creel, like I could not believe it. I was like, I like this guy. He has pathos. Like what the fuck is happening?
Do they ever call him? I always thought the Absorbing Man is one of the worst names for a character in Marvel Comics.
It is pretty bad because
he's not even like a Zorbo or something like that, which would also be dumb. But at least it's not like so plainly descriptive.
It's spongy.
Yes.
Don't call me that anymore. I'm no longer a sidekick.
Don't call me that. I'm no longer Sponge Lad. I touched a sponge once.
So yeah, we start at this casino. He wrecks the shop, and then we see like crimes all over the city getting wrecked by Creel and his weirdly faced group of henchmen, which they were never explained, never named.
We're clearly like supervillains of some type, but not named one.
Yeah,
like and one of them has a mechanical hand. I don't know.
The mechanical hand guy shows up a couple of times in the episode. I'm like, somebody really fucking likes it. It's like that Scorpio guy from the Avengers. Like somebody just really liked drawing him.
Yeah.
And then we go to this really egregious example of like a mob voice accent where this dude with like a pinstripe suit but with pants and a jacket that don't match are like, you need to go kill Allure. You're my guys. Go kill Allure.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we cut over to Allure.
Real quick before we move on to that, in the crime montage, one of them is an 18-wheeler that gets blown off the road in the desert. You know, the famous deserts that surround Chicago, and not Las Vegas. Like you're just like, oh, okay. So we go over to Allure's tower. Allure looks like Silver Sable to me a little bit, like just a silver-haired, like platinum blonde lady. And she's happy she's taking over the city, but she's just like, I want more. She goes in with her scientists, including like Milli Vanilli Einstein.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what is going on with her Einstein? She owns an Einstein who has half black hair, but he's just Einstein.
It's like he's Domino, like from the comics, right?
Yeah.
Like he's almost got that like white black like thing going on. I don't know why. Not like white skin, black skin, but literally just white and black. Like it's very strange. Both. And he talks in like a weird German / Einstein accent, which is incredibly weird.
The Einsteinian accent.
But she wants them to increase her abilities, and they're like, no, we don't really know. We can't do that. We haven't had any success, and they're like, oh, well, we'll keep going, but we're out of test subjects. And she's like, actually, I know 2 of them that are right here. And I'm like, this is really counterproductive to your cause, man. Like, what are you? You should at least hold them and let the next scientist come in.
How many Einsteins do you have?
Yeah.
You know?
How many come in a set? Is it like a chessboard full of Einsteins? Is that what happened?
She bought the Neinstein. Which comes with the extra Einsteins. So the scientists are like, okay, and then Creel says, actually, we got another candidate, Bruce Banner. I've invited him here. He's glad he approved to do some science. Like, he's coming. And then they cut over to Bruce Banner, where they're heading to Chicago now because he's got a job. Because what are they now? Like, again, they're just going on play dates and stuff. Like, they're trying to find a job. Like, is this a superhero show anymore? I just don't really know what Bruce Banner's function is, but She-Hulk goes to sleep on his lap.
Like leans into I've been on planes before, and me and Autumn travel, and Autumn will just like rest her head on my shoulder, maybe put a jacket there, and go to get some good airplane Z's. But I mean, she's leaned like they lifted up the handle, the armrest, and just leaned over. Was like, let me put my face next to your dick and then go to sleep for a little while.
Yeah, cuz
just like in our treehouse.
Yeah, it is not subtext at this point. Like, it is
real fucking weird.
Yeah, somebody is, and how awkward that be. I can imagine even if this was one-sided. Like, I was imagining this during this thing where it's like, what if Bruce doesn't want to fuck his cousin? He's just the hapless nerd who wants to play bass. But She-Hulk, with the gamma hornies that she has, like, is just like any port in a storm, right? So like, if she's doing this and he was not attracted to his cousin, but he's still just like got her like breathing on his ding dong while he drives, that would be real awkward. Because like, if you got a boner, like, she'd know it, and it might happen against your will if you were not into it. He fantasizes about her, but I can imagine a situation in which he's just not really into it. Like, he's trying to be proper And she thinks like now that the only rule is gamma rule, like old-fashioned laws against incest no longer apply to us.
Yeah.
You know,
the gamma radiation burned out my taboos, so now I'm ready to cousin fuck all over the place. I'm ready.
Yeah. It shouldn't have been illegal in the first place, cuz excuse me.
Once they land at the airport, Bruce Banner comes out, and Creel grabs him, and over Banner's protest, is like just shoves him into this weird like 1930s like fancy car, like
gangster car.
Yeah, it's very strange. Leaving Jennifer behind. Jennifer walks out, and we hadn't seen what she was wearing, but Gary, she's literally wearing a sports bra and then like a skirt. That's it. That's what she decided to wear on an airplane, like a sports bra and a skirt. And like, no shame, girl. Like, wear what you want to wear. But obviously, this is not like Jennifer Waters, like choosing to do this. This is some horny old man in an animation studio. Like, I want to draw the She-Hulk's titties in a sports bra. Like, I've been waiting.
How can I make some thirst traps in this cartoon? You know. Totally. So the baggage guy comes up and hits on her, but she's just like, who's that guy who left? And he's like, oh, it's Creel. He's bad news. So she's like, okay, I got to find that guy who stole my cousin. Like this tip from this horny bagman.
The horny bagman who's like, do you need to ride somewhere? I'm off in an hour. And if you need one sooner, I'll quit my job. I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ.
I have a key to some closets.
I interviewed a guy who quit his job so he could beat a Bloodborne boss the other day.
Really?
He was just like, he had just gotten hired at Walmart and he kind of hated it. And he was like, yeah, I had to be, I don't even remember the boss name anymore. I think it was Ludwig, the horse guy. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I had to do it. And sure enough, like I just didn't go in, I didn't call, and I never went back to the job, but I fucking killed that dude. And I was like, all right, man, go ahead. Good for you.
Yeah. So in the car, Banner is getting kind of tough. He's starting to realize like, hey, maybe this is not, just a normal job. And he's just like, you're starting to make me angry. Like, you wouldn't like me if I'm angry. And Allure, who we now know has mind control powers, her eyes glow and she makes people fall in love with her. And so he no longer gets angry anymore. He's now in love with Allure. Some gangsters pull in front of him. This is a rival gang who is run by British Gene Simmons. And modern Gene Simmons, like ugly, gross, greasy as fuck, like 50-year-old pervert Gene Simmons, like the worst Gene Simmons. And they're because Allure has been horning in on his turf, so he's just like, get him, man. And then she's like, why don't you get your boss? Makes them all fall in love with her. And then they beat up the mob boss. But we find out that she gets headaches when she uses her mutant power or whatever. We never actually find out how she gets her power.
I was curious if Allure was from the comics. So I did just like a quick Google image search, and all it's coming up is stills from the TV show. Like that's it.
Yeah, maybe she's not.
Yeah, so maybe they just invented another horny character to seduce people, because we didn't talk about her outfit, but like she's wearing this like white fur coat and this blue dress that exposes every part of her body that you would, if you were a horny animator, would want to be exposed.
Yeah.
So yeah, she takes care of that. They go back into her science wing of her tower or whatever, and finds out that she has this anomaly growing in her brain every time she uses her powers. And he says, I can't, if I expand that, you could die, and I don't want to lose you. And she's like, no, we're going to do it anyway. You're going to do it for love.
Yeah.
And he's like,
she's power hungry.
If I'm going to do that, then I'm going to need some cooler science shit. And so him and Creel go off to go steal a bunch of shit.
Yep. And as they go through, they pass She-Hulk. Like, what a coincidence. So she turns around in the back seat. She's
because
in a taxi.
There's only one road in Chicago, Gary. Don't you know?
Yeah, it's all the Miracle Mile, baby. So she's in a taxi. They pass. She turns around to see them pass, sticking her ass up in the air, which of course the taxi driver looks at in the mirror. Because like I can't blame him. If I hear music, I'm going to dance, right? Like I get that. At the same time, though, the show is just choosing to have this happen constantly.
They animated this dude reaching up to the rearview mirror and angling it so he could get a better look. Like they barely animate the fight scenes, Gary. Like what? Like somebody had to say, it's like somebody was like, okay, I want him to reach up and move the rearview mirror down.
Yeah.
Oh, really? What is that going to do to the plot? Oh, nothing. I just want this cab driver who has one line of dialogue to look at her ass for some reason.
it's just the whole fucking, like, if anyone's ever watched the TV show or listened to the podcast Comedy Bang Bang, it's like an entire cartoon made by Dom DeMillos. Like, everyone is just, like, slowly rubbing their hands together in the room, being like, something for daddy. Gotta get something for daddy. You know? Like, it's the entire cartoon. Like, goddamn. Like, the whole last episode, they decided not to have backdrops for 75% of it. They used one painted shitty album cover from the 70s as the backdrop for the entire mindscape. And now it's like, no, we need to lovingly animate this guy trying to get a better look at She-Hulk's butthole. Like, fucking A, man. Like, it is intense. So she says, like, hey, do you want to do a chase? He says no.
Please,
she says,
no. I don't want to use my car in a high speed pursuit. Please don't let me do that.
And she's like, well, get out of the way. I'm driving. And he's like, oh, fourth car I lost this month. And I'm like, what? You know? Okay.
I didn't really understand this at all. Like,
it's a like a Looney Tunes style joke. Like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? You know, that's the joke.
Still really fucking stupid though.
Yeah, it's super dumb. So She-Hulk chases him. There's a car chase.
I like how she, the Allure's car like swerves around a garbage can. She has to swerve around at the last minute, and she ends up like hitting this truck that's being basically made into a ramp, and then literally it crashes into a billboard where the car stays suspended in midair, and she just like hops out. Is like, well, that sucks.
Well, that was that.
I guess I'm just gonna go do something else for a while. I think at this point, does she go check into the hotel? That's what she ends up doing, right? Like, she just goes to the hotel.
She's done for the day. It's been a long day. Very, very good. So when they get to the science place, Creel bashes it open, and Bruce starts picking out science stuff. And the other henchmen outside, they plant these bombs around. And Creel ends up attacking Bruce, like he's jealous. Or something like that. Like, there's a subplot where Creel is in love with Allure as well.
Yeah.
And doesn't like the new fish. And they show inside Bruce's mind as he's being attacked, because this is enough to actually trigger some Hulkness. The Green and the Grey Hulk are fighting, and the Grey Hulk wins. So he turns into Grey Hulk.
Yep.
Punches Creel, and the henchmen explode the science building and drive off. I don't know why they explode the science building, but they do.
Well, they were there to we're gonna set this up and kill him so that Creel can be
right.
the only one sticking it to Allure. So.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I don't know what the henchmen get out of it besides just general henchiness, but
extra mechanical arms.
Yeah, I'm gonna go from a 2-pronged hook to a 3.
Yeah, I want to look like a He-Man. She-Hulk arrives and sees Grey Hulk there. And Grey Hulk's like, hey, there's a bald guy named Creel who's about to go cruising, or there's a bald guy named Creel about to go cruising with the Grey guy.
What a weird fucking line read this is for the Grey Hulk. Like, cruising with the Grey guy? Like, what?
Yeah, is it doing a drug? Is that
are you guys passing through like an interstate rest stop? Like, what is happening that you're cruising with the Grey guy? Like, that seems something
cruising together.
Yeah. Grey Hulk wants to go kill this Creel guy for fucking him up, and She-Hulk says, no, you're too recognizable in your current Grey Hulk kind of situation. Let's go power shopping. And then the next scene,
here's the thing, right? So her plan, he's like, let's go fight them with punches because we're Hulks.
Yes.
And She-Hulk says, no, let's start doing organized crime over the course of a montage. Like, we have to play this like a simulation game or something. It's very weird.
It's extremely strange.
What her whole thing is, other than the fact that she just feels like this is another opportunity for like a fun date, and she likes going shopping.
And it's a fun date with a different Hulk. Like, this is kind of like having a little piece of Strange on the side, right? Like,
she kind of likes Grey Hulk. It's like they're role playing. Yeah, it's
exactly.
Like the Monarch and Dr. Mrs. the Monarch. I didn't know she was going to wear a cheerleader outfit.
What was the mix up where he was being Khal Drogo, and she thought he wanted her to be some cheerleader or something? Like, I don't remember.
That was really, really good. I can't remember who she was instead. No, she ends up being was she Ivan Drago or something like that?
Maybe so.
And he was like, I'm the Khaleesi, or I can't remember, but it's extremely good. That cartoon's great. So she's like, let's go power shopping. And what that means that they go shopping for clothes. Grey Hulk shows up in a mob outfit, and she shows up dressed up like, a couple straps, like another kind of sports bra, strap, and then a bottom strap.
It's extremely strange. And like I took some screenshots of this because I was so weirded out by just what this looks like. So I'm going to drop these in the chat for you just so that you have them around. Because we could.
I just need to have this in the background. Yeah, and she gets a haircut too during this. So not just straps. I had it as a strap, but it's essentially like a weird asymmetrical Amazon bikini.
Yep.
Thing she's wearing with big tights and got a new haircut that makes her look like a surfer dude.
And there's some shots in this, like specifically that second one, where they just show her from the back, like staring directly up her ass crack. And I'm like, who is asking for this?
Yeah.
Who is the person?
We know who's asking for it. It's just weird though. Like Fox kids are going to become Fox teens eventually, Jeremy.
Oh my God. I don't want to be part of that process, Gary.
Fox kids, telling Fox men.
I don't want to go through Fox puberty. Okay, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
We're all culpable. We're all sons of bitches now. Anyway, so it's real weird. So now as she's calling herself Lady Green and he's Mr. Fixit, and they start doing a crime montage. They're essentially doing crimes as like criminals, but instead of stealing the goods, they return them, and instead of hurting people, they arrest them. So they become vigilantes in this little montage. Like we don't really see it all. It's just a couple scenes of them having done this enough to get Allure's attention.
They also, when we saw the crime montage at the beginning with Creel and his group like robbing from the mobsters, like they blew up a bank and stole some stuff. They reused the exact same animation for this. Like they go back, the bank got fixed up, they fixed the safe door, and then Mr. Fixit and Lady Green show up to blow it all up again. Fucking weird.
So weird.
So yeah, Allure at this point like baits them into a trap. She's like, because they show up to a place and Grey Hulk is like, you guys don't know what you're doing. Everybody on the street knew about this money transaction or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we meant to do it. And then of course, Creel and his gang of weirdos show up, and all of the vans turn into like van guns. And then it's a whole fight scene. At one point, She-Hulk says, "Keep on hulking" to the Grey Hulk. And at one point, the Grey Hulk says, "Have a ride from the Grey Guy," which
that also sounds like a euphemism, but also like a creepypasta. Like
have a ride on the Grey Guy. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I do not like.
I don't. The Gray Man was somebody who the playgrounds used to tell me about. It's very creepypasta as well.
Yeah.
Dislike. Creel, which I think in the comics he could just touch inanimate objects, but here he realizes like, hey, if I touch Grey Hulk, I'll become Grey Hulk.
Yeah.
Touches him and punches him through a bunch of walls. I'll get gray skin and get super Grey Hulk powers.
Yeah.
He punches Grey Hulk, knocks him out. She-Hulk gets blasted and is like, you know how much that outfit cost? And I'm like, that's a Halloween costume, girl. Like, there's no way that was expensive.
You definitely got that from on the clearance rack of Spirit, because nobody else would wear it.
That is a Spirit Halloween clearance rack, non-racist section. So Grey Hulk starts turning into Banner since he got punched so hard. Grey Hulk doesn't like this, of course.
Of course, yeah. We see this like mental battle where he's basically telling Banner like, don't let this chick, make you think you're in love with her. You're really in love with Betty Ross. And we see like,
and he's like, who? And they're like, your cousin. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now I understand. Yeah.
Man, we see a lot of him like kissing Betty Ross, and like it's really. Like, I think I saw some tongue there at one point. Like, they animated a tongue, and that's very... I don't like that at all.
Bruce Banner's sexuality is extremely confused during this cartoon. Like, what exactly is going on in this dude's hormones is fucking out of... Because we haven't seen Betty for 3 and 9/10 of an episode.
Yeah.
Like, Betty is so far in the rearview mirror. Like, now it is She-Hulk show, and now Bruce, like, I get... Maybe they just don't know how to write Bruce without him having like, a love interest or anything like that. Like if Bruce isn't horny, we can't do anything, so he just has to be horny for whatever's about.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
I don't get it. And but think about the stuff that Bruce is doing right now. Like he actively sought out a grant to do some research on a topic that wasn't gamma radiation. Like he's just bored at this point and just looking around. He's like, Jennifer is dragging me to all of these parties. I'm tired of that. I need a real job. Let's go to Chicago. And Jennifer's like, well, I'm going to go too. And he's like, fuck, this didn't work. God damn it.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm going to put my head on your lap during the entire flight. All right. Yeah, it's I don't know what the show is about anymore.
Also, when we come out of the little mental battle and Grey Hulk is literally turning into Bruce Banner after they've been thinking about Betty for so long, Grey Hulk just has like way too much saliva in his mouth, man. Like it's just a large, like it's just like lines of drool sticking to the top and bottom of his mouth. It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? But not.
He's remembering those kisses.
I guess.
Yeah. So they kidnap Banner, bring him back to Allure. The plan is no longer to kill Banner for some reason. Allure. So Banner uses all the science stuff to make the machine to fix Allure.
Yeah.
Creel is like, "Hey, Allure, I really do love you the way you are," and she's like, "No, I need more power. Activate the machine." He does, and it looks like it's working. She has this anomaly in her brain. She had brain cam, it shrinks. And once the procedure is done, she's like, "Oh, I don't have headaches anymore," but she can't use her powers. She-Hulk shows up, the cops arrive, and she's like, well, "You're gonna fall in love with me," but they don't work. So Bruce essentially cured her. He didn't just get rid of the headache part.
Yeah. And she's bummed out about this, obviously. But we don't really have time to focus on that because the She-Hulk arrives, and then the cops arrive, and then everything is basically over with at that point. Except Creel is like, "Hey, baby, I never cared about your powers. I just love you and your weird crime boss ways that you made everybody fall in love with you. We could still be together." And she's like, and she starts kissing him and says something like, "If your lips were made of gold, we'd have something good." And then She-Hulk is like way into this. She's like, "Oh my God, the romance is really getting to me." And I'm like, what the fuck is happening in this show? Like, what is the plot right now? What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's because the whole "if your lips were named of gold, we'd have something there," I think shows that like she hasn't changed, right? Like the whole point is no, she's still this materialistic money grubbing person, and ostensible superhero She-Hulk and the Incredible Hulk are just going to let them go do crimes with one superpowered mob strongman and no mind control.
Yeah,
like it's fine, you guys can go. Like she's like, "Hey, Creel, fight them off," and She-Hulk and Hulk are like, "Okay, you're the boss. We're just gonna go on another weird play date. We no longer try to stop crime or anything.
Next week is Miami, everybody. Let's go."
Yeah, this cross country tour of like cousin dates.
Fucking
that is
weird.
This show now.
So fucking strange. And then the punchline at the end of this too is like her and Bruce walking out, and she's like, "Let me see your sleeve," and he's like, no, don't do it. And then you hear like off camera, you hear her blowing her nose on his sleeve, and he's like, "I had a handkerchief, right?" And I'm like, "Are you guys married for like 20 years now? Are you the honeymooners? Like what are we like? Why? I don't. Fuck.
Yeah, I do not know. But again, I'm in for it because this show has now doing something the Avengers show like barely ever did, which was surprise me. It's just so unpredictable now. Like it's just weird, and like I know it's taking many episodes for me to get used to the idea that this is now about cousin love, but like that was not a direction I would ever think it went in, and they keep going further with it, and they keep having more and more brazen She-Hulk sex shots, sexy like pinup shots and stuff. And I'm pretty here for it, not because it's turning my crank, but because I just can't get over how weird it is.
Because you're turning your crank while watching it.
Yeah. It's because I'm having my crank turned by a person I hired. It just like, I'm just so surprised the context of it just makes it so good.
It's definitely way the fuck out there. I'll give you that. I'm not sure that I can go all the way with you to good, even in the bad good kind of point of view, because like the show is still really like the plots don't really make a lot of sense. Nobody acts in any kind of reasonable way. The backdrops are all terrible. The animation is bad unless someone's checking out She-Hulk. Like the music is all the way through. The music is terrible. Like all we get is She-Hulk's like weird saxophones, and then like a weird version of the theme of the show, and that's it. Like that's all we get.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I forgot to mention it. During the entire time they're in the Mindscape in the first episode, the bass line is doing the Humpty dance. It's doing like over and over and over, and it's exactly that. Like it's pitch shifted a little bit, but it's that interval. Like it is that ding 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 ding. Like it is literally the Humpty dance. That is the weird theme song that plays. That's the song that Bruce Banner has had stuck in his head for 30 years. Yeah.
That's what he practices on his bass guitar, right?
God, it's so fucking weird. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like just big bendy bass.
Oh man. Let's leave these 2 episodes and let's go do something else.
Let's leave. I'm gonna take a shower. I'm thinking about too much Hulk sex. Like it is just. We have what is it? 3 more episodes.
Of the podcast, we have
this season.
1, 2, 3. We have 4 episodes. We have 2 more episodes of the podcast left, and 4 episodes of the show.
Okay, gotcha.
So next episode will be Fashion Week, and Dr. Doom is coming back. So
great.
Yeah,
into it. They'll actually fight a supervillain.
Oh Christ!
So
after helping an elderly Chinese man. The man asked him to go to find the other half of the medallion in Tibet, and I'm like, oh god, this is not going to be handled well.
The racially sensitive Hulk, the woke Hulk. Looking forward to it. If you like the show, you can support the entire network at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Yes, correct.
It is hugely appreciated.
It is, and you get all kinds of cool benefits to do so. Like there's one main feed on your Patreon feed that's just early access for all of the episodes, including bonus content. That's bonus episodes of Abject Suffering, Upon Fireside Chat, Duckfeed Presents, which is kind of just a mishmash of everything. There's some. If you're a fan of Days of Future Cast, there's the Spider-Man DLC episode came out, right? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So there's some stuff in there for you too, and I'm sure me and Gary are going to record some random shit in there for us as well.
Oh yeah,
so it's well worth it, and you get access to the Slack, which is still super cool. Which is weird for a place to be so cool after like 5 years of it being around.
Exceedingly good. And because of the Patreon, because of your support, we reached a stretch goal where we are releasing YouTubes now.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Ask Beast and Ask Gambit, and if you want to. So just basically send us questions, and we'll forward them to our friends Beast and Gambit from the X-Men to answer. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Beast is usually doing this in between experiments, and some of his experiments aren't going so well, Gary. You'd be surprised to know that being distracted by your dumbass romantic questions is not good for science. So
it's actually having a deleterious effect on the Beast.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that drama to unfold. I think the question URL is curious.cat/DOFC podcast. Is that right?
It's curiouscat.me/DOFC podcast.
Oh, well, go to curious.cat if you're curious about my cat.
Julius, the Forgotten Greer. But go there and ask us questions and stuff. Those will be released every week, and we do have, at some point things like that will probably change and stuff. But for now, it's been pretty fun. So I'm into it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. You can follow me on Twitter at JG Greer. We also have a podcast at DOFC Podcast. Gary is at Gary Buh. Come ask us anything that you want to know about She-Hulk's vagina. We will definitely answer in ways that we definitely know about.
At Plumber Duck.
Yes, at Plumber Duck or at Cole_Ross. Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with more She-Hulk, I guess. Yep. Sure.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.